Standing on the cusp of a rising sun, should I run to the horizon? Or should I flee while I still have a chance before the light exposes what I'm not ready to let go of? When I see yellow burgundies, I hear nature's melody singing a new song. Yesterday has passed away as the clouds swallow the stars. Wave goodbye to all the scars of yesterday's rain. And now I say hello, morning. Hello, morning, yeah. Hello, morning. Hello, good morning, yeah. The world looks different when the sun is gone, fighting monsters in the darkness, to find that they're just shadows all along. Nothing's the same when the light's gone. As I wait for the sunrise, open my eyes and say goodbye. When I see yellow burgundies, I hear nature's melodies greeting a new dawn. Morning wash the black away as the clouds swallow the stars. Wave goodbye to all the scars of yesterday's rain. And now I say hello, morning. Hello, morning, yeah. Hello, morning. Hello, good morning, yeah. The morning comes every day, but every day is hard to face if I hold on to yesterday. Hello, morning. Hello, morning, morning. Hello, morning. Hello, good morning, yeah. Oh, hello, morning. Hello, morning, yeah. Hello, morning, yeah. Hello, good morning, yeah. Hello, good morning. Hello, 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 good morning, yes.
Oh, hello. Good morning. I feel better about everything, having just heard that. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. I'm Reverend Louise Green, your Minister of Congregational Care, pronouns she, her. Welcome to Zoom World Worship, once again from many places near and far. Our February theme examines stories of opening our hearts. And today we also honor Black History Month in many ways. As our service description noted, committing to open your heart collectively or one-to-one is likely to disrupt you. Your small stories, your well-reasoned arguments, your explicit and implicit bias, it's all up for change. We have the tendency to get on our personal soapboxes multiple times a day with our own fierce truths and the complicated realities of people, congregations, and countries. They're unsettling. It is challenging to allow nuance, contradictions considered, investigate complexity, and just get curious about paradox. And so I invite us all to open our hearts today and to be moved. Let us enter into the spirit of worship. Our chalice lighters this morning or afternoon, wherever you are Caroline, Ben, Susanna, Jesse, and Evan Holt. Please join with your own candle if you would like.
Hello, all souls. Good morning. Welcome. What a glorious day it is today. The sun is shining and it is very beautiful, and I'm so happy to be with you all. This morning, as we prepare to sing our opening hymn, I invite you to remain on mute and sing along with us all. This is Guide My Feet.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to All Souls Church. My name is Justice Tuya, and I am very comfortable with he, they pronouns, and I'm honored to be your worship associate this week. For 2 centuries, our congregation has actively sought to bring into being the vision inherent in our name, All Souls. It's a vision of human family where all people are welcome at the table, where we welcome diversity and we actively commit to address racism and all other oppressions in ourselves, our church community, and in the various spaces we inhabit, thereby transforming ourselves, our communities, and our world. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, diverse in countless ways, but united in our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and in our obligation to express our faith through acts of justice and compassion. Due to COVID, we again gather remotely from across the DMV and various locations around the world. Regardless of whether you're a lifelong member or someone who just happened to stumble across us by chance, you are welcome here. Today, I'll be partnering with the Reverend Maybelle Bennett, Rochelle Rice, and friends in carrying out the service, and our very own Reverend Louise Green will offer the sermon. If you're interested in examining today's order of service, you can click on the link that will be placed in the chat to stay up to date on our transition back to hybrid worship and other upcoming offerings of the church community. Please read the weekly e-bulletin. It's typically released every Friday by email. And if you're not currently subscribed to receive the weekly e-bulletin, you can sign up via the church website. Now let's turn our attention to greeting each other in a time of beholding. If it's not already on, I would encourage you to consider turning your camera on for just a few minutes, put zoom on gallery view, and scroll through the beautiful faces of so many dear ones. You can wave and say hello in the chat as we continue to create online community together. Thank you, and again, welcome to All Souls.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dolores Miller, the Director of Religious Education. The All Souls theme for February is Keeping an Open Heart. When I was choosing a story to tell today, I found an organization called B'nai B'rith Canada. They had held a creative writing competition for high schoolers on the theme of diverse minds. Today's story, called The Eggnapper, was the 2020 first prize winner of that contest. One morning, the chickens woke to find their eggs missing. Each one had a theory about what happened.
It had to be the dog. She's so mindless the way she follows the farmer around.
The littlest chick spoke up.
Don't say that. She's just a loyal friend. Cluck, cluck, cluck. It's probably the pig. They lie in the mud. Yuck. I'm sure they stole our eggs. It's not yucky to them. They use mud to take cool. It's probably the cow. You can't trust such a big animal. You don't even know them. They're so gentle.
I'm sure it's the goat. He's weird looking and eats everything. I've even seen him eat a boot. Oh.
Don't talk about him like that. He's open-minded with his food.
Finally, the chickens decided to stay up and catch the Eggnapper. It was well after midnight until they heard a sound.
What is the raccoon?
Look back! We were wrong about all the other farm animals. Look back! It was the raccoon all along. Cluck, cluck! Why were you taking our eggs? I'm sorry, I just needed help feeding my family. What? You should have told us. We can help. Here are some potatoes.
Moo! There's an apple tree in our pasture.
Meh! Try this boot.
Look! And we have plenty of corn.
And so the raccoon family lived happily with the farm animals. And the chickens never judged anyone again.
I hate to tell you this, but you're self-absorbed and you're not a baby anymore. I hate to tell you this. You judge too quickly and you don't respect me at all.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Maybelle Taylor Bennett, and it's good to be with All Souls this morning. My pronouns are she, her. We begin today with All Souls announcements and an invitation to subscribe to the weekly bulletin for more information. It's delivered each Friday morning. You may sign up on the All Souls website at top of the home page. After the service today, you're invited to join Rose Eaton in coffee hour. I think today Rose Eaton may not be feeling too well, so you may want to join Reverend Louise for social time until 12:30. There will be a breakout room with Gary Penn for newcomers and those who want to learn more about All Souls and Unitarian Universalism. In addition, there will be an All Souls Social Justice Ministry campaign overview from 11:45 to 12:45. Join Reverend Rob Keithan, an organizer from the Washington Interfaith Network, and key social justice leaders. The registration form link will be in the chat. The next round of a 4-part course, Introduction to Anti-Racism for White People, starts tomorrow night on Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. 3 more online sessions will follow, all co-led by Jennifer Langer-Smith and Reverend Rob. We urge white people and All Souls to cultivate self-awareness, learn critical skills for engaging in racial justice transformation, and develop relationships for mutual accountability and support. See the weekly bulletin on the website under Adult Spiritual Development. The registration link will be in the chat as well. There are 2 more online spaces to connect this week with links on the homepage calendar. They are Monthly Vespers, which takes place on Wednesday, February 9th from 7:30 to 8:15, and a spiritual care session on reproductive experiences, which will occur on Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Now we will turn to our congregational care list. This week brought many, many challenging situations in need of our loving prayer. Our hearts and healing wishes are with Mark Hicks, who sustained a stroke last Sunday in Oklahoma. He's already in rehab and in recovery. He has been progressing well this week, and he is well supported by his family and his friends. Jose Luis Sanchez has been in chemo treatment for recurrence of cancer since January. He is staying at his friend's home and does not have the energy for much contact presently. Claudia Lieber's sister, Ingrid, had a serious 3rd stroke this week in New Hampshire. Claudia is there with her family as they discern next steps. Teal Penrod and family are experiencing a challenging COVID outbreak now and are currently in home quarantine. Juanita and Mel Hardy are visiting elder parents this week in North Carolina with concern for mother's health. They will also see their nephew, Tito, who is in the last months of multi-year cancer treatment. And finally, Gordon Kent is stable and communicative at the Washington Hospital Center Intensive Care Unit. Gordon was rescued from an apartment fire on Wednesday night. We rejoice that he was evacuated safely, and we send healing energy for recovery of leg burns. Jen Heyman and Reverend Louise visited him, and will let you know when more contact is possible. We hold so much in these times and are so resilient and loving community. And now we invite you to add your names or situations into this space. You can do so aloud while muted or in the chat. Let us pray. Holy One, we lift up and surround with loving energy all those whose names were mentioned here, placed in the chat, or held in our hearts. With confidence in the restorative healing power and grace of the divine, we commend them to your care. Today, we assemble again in thanksgiving for our sacred gathering, whose diverse presence is anchored in an underlying unity. Here, we allow our individual and collective radiance to enrich, support, challenge, question, provoke, strengthen, unsettle, and comfort those whose spirits dare to add their frequencies to the creation of a beloved community. And so it is that we continue our journey together, one with another. Amen.
Blessed be, and amen. All Souls Church embraces a grand vision of a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. This vision is embodied in the diverse work we do, both inside and outside of our walls. It's also just as importantly embodied in the individual work we do within ourselves to consistently root our actions in these spaces and to balance engagement with self-care. Most importantly, we recognize that salvation in this life is a communal endeavor. My salvation is inextricably tied to yours, and yours is tied to mine. Our mutual offerings, that is to say, commitments of time, energy, resources, and self-care, they all make a difference to countless people, regardless of whether they walk through our doors or share our worldview. Individually and together, we are Unitarian Universalists, building a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. Today, your financial offering and offerings can be made via the All Souls website. You can navigate to all-souls.org and click on donate, or you can also donate via text message. Instructions on how to donate via text message will be available in the chat box. Today's offering will now be gratefully received.
People's lives before us leave a memory behind. Actions done, actions written, acts impressed upon our mind. Forward moving through the circle, ghosts appearing through the sound, waving at us from a distance, 'cause the whole wide world is round, round, and round and round. Yes, the whole wide world is round, round and round and round. Yes, the whole wide world is round.
Oh, it doesn't get better than that. That was just like astonishing. I hadn't heard it yet. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that brilliance. We could go home now, right? But there's a little more to go. We're going to have 3 reflections really today. One from Nicole Hannah-Jones, one from Sonia Sanchez, and one from me. So we begin with a reading from the essay Justice in the 1619 Project, a new origin story by Nicole Hannah-Jones. Origin stories function to a degree as myths, designed to create a shared sense of history and purpose. Nations simplify these narratives in order to unify and glorify, And these origin stories serve to illuminate how a society wants to see itself and how it doesn't. The origin story of the United States that we tell ourselves has positioned almost exclusively white Americans as the architects and champions of democracy. And because of this, some have believed that white people should disproportionately reap the benefits of this democracy. A truer origin story requires us to place Black Americans prominently in the role of democracy's defenders and perfecters. It is Black Americans who have struggled and fought when many white Americans were willing to abandon the charge that all men are created equal to make those words real. It is Black Americans who have consistently made the case, even when they were utterly disenfranchised and forced out of the political process, that all citizens deserve equal access to the benefits of a country founded on a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Our second reading today is from the progress report by Sonia Sanchez, also from the 1619 Project. In this country, where history and herstory stretches in aristocratic silence, our Black, white, brown activists have come at the beginning of the 21st century carrying the quiet urgency of a star. And the country is not the same. I say, who are these people singing down the lids of cities with color? I say, who are these people always punctual with their eyes, their hearts, their minds? I say, who are these singers who resurrect summer language on our winter landscape? They remind each other of what Frantz Fanon said. What is needed is to hold oneself like a sliver to the heart of the world, to interrupt, if necessary, the rhythm of the world, to upset, if necessary, the chain of command, but to stand up to the world. I do battle for the creation of a human world that is a world of reciprocal recognition.
The closing lines that we just heard are by psychiatrist and political philosopher Frantz Fanon, who was born in Martinique and died nearby here in Bethesda. Dr. Fanon was known globally for his 1961 classic, The Wretched of the Earth, which expounded on the dehumanizing effects of colonization and its many psychopathologies. In 1961, he championed building social movements that decolonize our minds and open our hearts. Fanon said, I do battle for the creation of a human world that is a world of reciprocal recognition. Why is it so challenging to find true reciprocal recognition? We are regularly blinded by the limits of what we are sure we know. We are limited by our social conditioning, by our intersectional systems that marginalize so many. We are shaped by our personalities and our very cherished assumptions. We are boxed in by our stories, our fierce truths, and sometimes our outright refusal to open our hearts. I recently saw a striking cartoon by Wiley called The Ideology Process. In the first frame, there are two people who are facing each other on a middle line with red arrows behind them pointing in the opposite direction. The first frame reads, Step 1, self-reflection. Evaluate your own value system and why it's a good direction in life. Frame 2 says, Step 2, emphasize your direction as being the best for everyone. And the two people are farther away from each other on their red lines. Frame 3 says, Step 3, exaggerate your position to clarify the superiority of your choice. And the two are even farther away and have turned to shake fists at one another. Frame 4, Step 4 says, immerse yourself in the dogma of your one-way worldview to quash the burden of critical thinking. Frame 5, as the people have walked farther and farther away and circled back to find themselves standing face to face again. Step 5 reads, see Step 1, repeat. Isn't this how it goes sometimes? Our national and global cultures in 2022 deeply reinforce our presumed superior worldviews. And of course, there are core values that we hold dear: the inherent worth and dignity of each person, shared desires for diverse inclusion and true equity, honoring the interconnected life on our one shared home, planet Earth. Yet within this very large justice lens lies a million choices day by day in whether to close or open our hearts. We regularly reinforce the dogma of our worldviews, perhaps even rejoicing in the opportunity to quash the burden of critical thinking. It is easier to stay with our own kind, whomever, whatever we perceive this to be. How do we create an intention to listen, to grow, and to be changed? This is a spiritual practice. One powerful method is to allow ourselves to be touched in unexpected ways by other people and situations. This has been the great impact of community organizing in my life since 1994, as a clergy leader in 3 congregations, as staff in 4 different organizations. When we are in authentic relationships with people and communities that are not familiar, that may differ sharply in race, class, religious perspective, social perspective, then we are invited to change. This will not always be comfortable, but I have experienced the unsettling as deeply beneficial. I'm going to give my strong recommendation for UUs and for most of a liberal and progressive bent. We all need to get out more. It is critical to open our hearts to key differences, to make a concerted effort to listen, hear, and be moved. And every UU congregation could benefit greatly from broad-based organizing on multiple issues where common ground is established. You can hear more about that today in the All Souls Social Justice Ministry Campaigns overview. We must keep racial justice at the center of all social change right now. And white UUs, white people in general, need to step back and let others lead. This requires humility. So we might cease trying to run the room as we do and get out of our own way towards transformation. I want to share a story that was not very high stakes, yet has stayed with me for years. This is a tale when my assumptions were so completely wrong that I still remain amazed and more conscious of the tendency to jump to conclusions. Once upon a time, I went for a haircut on U Street with a new stylist. This is always unnerving when you have short hair, which is easy to mangle. The stylist approached to greet me. He was tall and lanky in head to toe, black leather, punk clothing. He had a tall electric blue mohawk. He had multiple piercings and he was covered in extensive tattoos, including all over his face. Oh, I did imagine disaster for my hair, yet this man I will call Cam seemed very friendly, so I went forth. In the chair, I carefully described what I wanted, and I said strongly that it was not really seeking a radical change in cut or color. I gulped and I hoped for the best as he started to snip. As often happens in DC, he asked what kind of work I did. Okay, here we go, I thought. I said, I work up the road at All Souls and I'm a minister. I paused. The statement is usually like putting this blinking light on your head that says, ask me your spiritual questions, tell me about your problems. So I was ready. Cam then said, oh, may I ask your advice about spiritual practices for Lent? My wife and I are Roman Catholic and we want to commit to something daily in terms of prayer or readings. We were expecting twins and we wanted some biblical grounding this Lenten season. So many thoughts went through my head. Not what I expected from this person at all. And asking me about Lent, a UCC minister turned Unitarian, more of a Buddhist and yoga practitioner, this was going to be a slippery slope. I started by asking Cam more questions, getting curious and just listening. Maybe I was just buying time. But I was immediately struck by his inquiry and his devotion, his steady prayer life, which well exceeded mine, and his genuinely lovely Christian faith. This was jaw-dropping with a very high surprise factor. I was drawn in to listen and open my heart and be changed. We carried on the dialogue the entire haircut, and that initial deep conversation resulted in a relationship of many years. When Cam and his wife lost that precious pregnancy to miscarriage, we grieved together and even shed some tears. Over the years, we talked about all kinds of things. While I got haircuts and eventually color, yet never that electric blue. When was the last time someone really surprised you? Are you currently having any experiences beyond your fixed opinions and worldview? Live, which I grant you is a little trickier these days, or in books, in movies, theater, TV shows. Are you ready for the destabilizing stories that will open your heart? There is a pressing call to tell new origin stories, as Nicole Hannah-Jones puts it, to decolonize our minds and perceptions, to truly learn about the complex layers of people, cultures, and nations. We might begin right here at All Souls, people, where our members and our 200 years of history history and our many lived experiences could be way more complicated than you believe or know as of today. Sonia Sanchez's poem, Progress Report, reminds us our Black, white, brown activists have come at the beginning of the 21st century carrying the quiet urgency of a star. In the country is not the same. We remember with Frantz Fanon, what is needed is to hold oneself like a sliver to the heart of the world, to interrupt, if necessary, the rhythm of the world, to upset, if necessary, the chain of command, but to stand up to the world. For we all battle for the creation of a human world that is a world of reciprocal recognition. May it be so. Amen. May we go from this sacred circle with the courage to change and the intention to open our hearts. Let us imagine new possibilities and tell new origin stories, designing a future that is large enough, wide enough, compelling enough to live into. Go in peace and return in love. Blessed be all souls.
In the real early morning, with the sun slowly rising, rising. I was walking out slowly, wandering free. When out in the distance, over the valley, I saw an old friend waiting for me, waiting for me. She was a young girl. She was an old soul, as fair as the ocean, timeless and free. She was my mother. She was my daughter. She was my lover. She's my everything. An old friend could be. I said, it's been such a long time since we have spoken. I've so much to say to you. I want you to know. I wish you could tell me all that you've seen here, but we haven't got long now, for soon you'll be fading, and soon I must go. She said, And now it's the evening. There's a moon slowly rising.